Episode 7, Equalized. Act 1, Air Battle. Blasting past the rooftops, the armored DODC suit tears through the skies above New York, followed by none other than the Northeast Soldier. Connor cannot believe what's happening. They have his suit, and he feels like he should have known. All he can do now is find a way to take it out. The two armored suits resemble the sound of fighter jets as they soar through the air, narrowly dodging buildings, and suddenly, Connor is called by Daisy. "Hey Daisy, it's kind of a bad time right now," Connor says as he follows the suit's every move. "The cops are here. I told them about the suit and everything, and they said the chief is already prepared to help reclaim the S.H.I.E.L.D. tech," Daisy says as she looks around at the guards from different organizations being put in a prison van. Connor thanks Daisy and hangs up promptly before refocusing on the task at hand. Connor cannot use his AR, knowing that any stray bullets would hit the hundreds of civilians watching the sky. Just then, Connor notices the DODC suit straighten out before in a quick motion the suit enters a loop and flies directly at the Northeast Soldier, knocking Connor out of the air. Connor flies dead stick for a minute. He falls quickly and toward the streets. Civilians watch in fear, and right when it looks like this would be the death of the Northeast Soldier, the emergency stabilizers in the suit activate, which causes Connor to be able to regain control, and he flies back up toward the DODC suit as the civilians cheer. The DODC suit begins to fly off, and the pilot turns around to look back at where Connor fell. Not seeing the hero, the person in the suit feels comfortable and proud. But suddenly, as they turn around, the Northeast Soldier delivers a flying punch at the armor, causing the person in the suit to stop dead in their chemtrails and fall from the air. Connor looks down and readies the EMP missile as AI Carol syncs up the missile with the targeting system. Connor fires the missile, hits the suit, shutting it off, making the person who's flying it unable to do so. However, right before the suit lands on the empty rooftop it was above, a large humanoid robot leaps into the air and saves the DODC suit. Connor watches on in confusion, as he then sees the robot in the suit warp away in a purple blast. "Daisy," Connor says, "meet me at the S.H.I.E.L.D. HQ ASAP." Act 2, Apparition. Dozens of officers of the NYPD walk into the meet on the roof of the S.H.I.E.L.D. HQ, being led by Chief Audrey. On the other side, Alfonso McKenzie stands with about the same amount of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Among the ranks are the cavalry. "Alfonso McKenzie, Director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Alfonso says sternly, as Audrey approaches him. "Audrey Myers, Chief of NYPD. "Great to be working with you here," Audrey says. Alfonso wastes no time telling Audrey about the Synthoid manufacturing factory that was found in the files that Daisy's had fished through. "Daisy Johnson and I spent the past couple of days running through the files. They're building these robots called Synthoids, along with quad mechs in order to use on the civilians," Alfonso says, gesturing to Daisy. Daisy pipes up and with a tone of despair says, "In the plans, it's said that they were created to control and suppress, meaning that AIM is staging an uprising," Daisy tells Audrey. Audrey's face becomes one of concern but also calculation. "And they waited until most of Force 25 was out of the city. They thought that they could just take out Connor and have that be the end of it. New York would be theirs. And they used their tech since yours is the most advanced in the city," Audrey realizes, as Alfonso nods disappointedly. Just then, the people on the roof hear the repulsor engines of the Northeast Soldier get closer and closer, before suddenly, Connor lands on the roof and retracts his helmet and visor. "Chief," Connor says with a nod. Audrey nods back as Connor greets his fellow officers. Alfonso steps forward and gets Connor's attention. "Connor, I'd like to introduce you to Melinda May, also known as the Cavalry. She'll be supervising the mission that you and Daisy are about to be sent on," Alfonso says. Melinda May nods to Connor, and Connor raises his hand to her in greeting. "We'll be on scene as well, Connor. Anything goes wrong, NYPD and S.H.I.E.L.D. will rush in," Audrey tells him. Connor looks at Daisy and the two nod to each other. However, Connor notices Elena and sees her arms. "Elena, your arms," he says, noticing that they don't look like metal. Elena then simply tells him that she has two sets, combat and non-combat. "Wait, so you're like that Bucky Barnes guy, sorta?" Officer Bagley says excitedly. Elena chuckles and nods, and Connor regains focus back on the subject. "Okay, what's this mission about?" the Northeast Soldier asks. An hour later, 2 Quinjets and 3 police helicopters fly toward the AIM manufacturing facility. "There's only 2 of these?" Audrey asks through the comms link between she and Alfonso. "Yes, we checked thoroughly. With the money that AIM still had, they were only able to create 1 facility. And if we destroy this, they're done," Alfonso says. "You mean when we destroy it?" a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent says. "I love that positivity," Connor replies. The joint force touches ground, and Daisy and Connor move on the facility. "Let's do this," the Northeast Soldier says. He and Daisy quickly move through the facility, and they run across dozens upon dozens of AIM guards. Bullets ricochet off the Northeast Soldier as quick shockwaves away the distracted guards. Connor notices several guards running behind Daisy, and the AI Carol targets the enemies before firing on them all. "Thanks for having my back," Daisy says. Pun intended? Connor asks. Pun intended, Daisy says proudly. The two continue through the high-tech facility, and Audrey contacts Connor. Officer Campbell, what's your status? She asks. Connor tells her that they're en route to the assembly room. Okay. The two make it to the room, seeing AIM robots lying in wake mid-assembly. Daisy tells Connor that now's the time. She gets herself ready to do the biggest quake she's ever done, and Connor prepares the missiles on his suit. Ready, War Machine? I mean, Northeast Soldier? Daisy says. Connor chuckles. Huh. Hilarious, he says. And in unison, the two use their abilities on the room, destroying every single piece that is there. Explosions fill the large room, and the floors and walls crack from the shockwaves caused by quake. The room has been destroyed, Daisy says into the comms to Alfonso. Nice work, now get out of there, he says. Connor and Daisy run toward the exit, the hallways appearing the same as they run through the building. However, suddenly, a beeping noise is heard. Connor and Daisy stop in their tracks. Daisy, run! Connor yells as he shoves her away. Just then, the floor explodes from under him, and Connor falls. A few minutes later, Connor's awoken by a voice, a familiar voice that he hasn't heard in years. Hey, Con Man, Lincoln says.